Are you just going to stare at me this whole time? It's going to be a real boring show if it's one-sided.
That's for sure. Well, depends on whose side is the one that it's on.
Oh, well, why don't you explain yourself, Dan? Which side's the fun side? Okay.
The left side?
The left side. Wait, your left or my left? Or screen left? There's a lot of lefts involved.
Hate watching with Dan and Tony. Hate watching with Dan and Tony. It's hate watching, yeah.
Ho, ho, ho! Welcome to a very Christmassy episode of Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
And I'm Tony.
And this week we're doing that holiday classic, Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984, an hour and 24 minutes. They call it a slasher. I guess it is a slasher. Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a guy stalking people and killing them.
Yeah.
But it's not super made in the stalker, like, formula.
Yeah, I've never watched most of these movies. I've never seen the Halloween movies. I've never seen the Friday the 13th movies.
Dan, no, wait. Don't skate over that. You've never seen a Halloween movie?
Well, I saw the Halloween, the Season of the Witch, where it's not about Halloween. It's about them programming things.
You picked the only one that's not technically in canon there.
And then
that's great.
I watched one of the later Nightmare movies, either 2 or 3, when I was in South America in a movie theater. Okay. So it was like...
Was it in English?
Yes, it was in English, but it had Spanish subtitles.
Okay.
And it was weird because, I was in like a foreign country and I was kind of bored and I was like, I'll go to the movies here. And I was like, okay, this one I might be able to understand. But
probably not.
Most of the rest of them I've never seen.
I can't believe that, Dan. Wow.
I don't like this kind of movie typically, but this one I loved.
Wait, what do you, this one? Silent Night, Deadly Night?
Kind of loved it.
You enjoyed this movie?
Kind of loved it, yeah.
Oh, Dan. Oh, no.
Kind of, like we watch these other movies and you're just like, you feel bad about yourself and you feel bad about the filmmakers. In this one, there's like this earnestness, I don't know. It felt good.
Wow. This is the most opposite viewing experiences I think we've ever had on this show.
See, because I think I go into these movies, a movie like this, just looking to see what's going on. And I'm like, okay, this is an interesting choice. They're going to spend a lot of time doing these weird things. They're going to not introduce the characters very well. And you kind of know their names like 6 scenes after they showed up. And they sort of telegraph everything that's going to happen. And then it's just sort of random, his killing spree. And then it's just like it feels more like real life because it's so random, as opposed to a movie where it's this super constructed thing that you sort of know exactly. There's incredible movies. I was thinking about like Gone Girl, where you're just like, you're like clenching the seat as you're like, what would I do if, you really feel a lot of emotions. But most movies you watch and you feel nothing. This one, I at least enjoyed the ride.
I can't believe that, Dan. Let's back up just to one thing that you said, is that, to surmise it, you said it didn't feel like a movie. And I wholeheartedly agree. This is not a movie. And I thoroughly did not enjoy myself. I was angry the whole time.
I mean,
I can't believe you liked this movie.
I kind of loved it. They spent all this time in the toy store and you're just like looking at the toys on the shelves, and it's like a real toy store, but it's a real junky toy store. So everything's
it's a place that I wouldn't go with my kids.
Everything's sort of thrown on the shelves, and there's like Jabba the Hutt throne room, and there's like a big Master of the Universe capsule Grayskull, and you're like, how does this place stay in business?
It
And like,
doesn't. Spoiler alert, it doesn't, Dan.
does it really need a whole guy to work in the warehouse? And, you know, also with this movie, you
No.
start out and you're like 1971. I'm like, 1971, is this like a period piece? I'm
Right.
intrigued.
Nope.
But now what we find out is this is like literally the sort of dragging story of this guy's life, you know, where we really dig deep into his trauma. Now, is that surprising? Did you just go like, oh, 1971, we're going to see him as a kid, then we're going to jump ahead to normal time and he's going to be a killer?
So, no,
Okay.
I didn't think that. I thought it was going to be the return of that Santa. Like, generally speaking, your protagonist, the guy you follow, in my experience, is like, you know, the final girl, as they say.
Yeah.
So you see him survive as a kid, and then, you know, 10 years later, he's got to do it again and, you know, finish what he started. But instead, the first Santa, who kills at least 3 people and robs $31,
Yeah.
he's just alive. He's just out doing his thing. We never see him again. And I was like, well, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
I would like a little closure on that story. But nope, he's just out living his life. And now we've got a new killer. And it's dark.
Eventually, we have a new killer.
After like, what, 50, 60 minutes of the 70-minute movie?
I mean, they really dig into the idea of the first and the second act, you know? I mean,
do they? I mean, I guess maybe the first act, because I feel like we see the first act 4 or 5 times throughout the movie in these weird flashbacks. I think if they cut those out, the movie would only be like 45 minutes.
They like the, you know, you know, the interesting thing, well, we'll talk about it when we get to it, but they kept adding more material. You know, they had the first thing, and then each time they kind of showed the situation, there was always more. So,
Yep.
So we start off. There's a creepy child singing like some Christmas carol, and they use the weirdest Christmas music of songs you've never heard.
Are they real though?
I'm sure
tried to Google this. I couldn't figure out if they were real or if they wrote them for the movie. I don't know.
So they've bought like all these bargain basement Christmas songs, and so you're never really used to what's happening. They always sound like, what?
Yeah.
Are we in another universe?
It feels like a different universe. Like, I don't know where I am. And they're all singing as if they're popular. That's what got me. It's not like one person knows the songs. When somebody sings it, everyone's like, oh, I love this song. Never heard this song before in my entire life. It's so stupid.
It's so good. So we have the creepy child singing, and then these titles, it goes Silent Night, and then this blood splatter Deadly Night, and then this hard electronic crazy music, and you're just like, yes, I'm in.
I agree. For the first 7 seconds of this movie, I'm 100% in. I'm super excited, and then they lost me almost immediately.
Then we have 2 hours, 1971 Christmas Eve, 2 hours of them driving in a station wagon. It's wonderful.
Yeah, give or take. Is it wonderful?
It's just like cinema verite. You know, it takes place in like Utah. I think it was the same, you know, that the food one, the Troll 2, I think, same sort of location.
Oh, really?
So I think Troll 2 was also shot in Utah. So it's like this sort of desolate 70s landscape with no chain stores, middle of nowhere. Everything's like empty.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I agree with all that. I don't know.
So it's mom and dad and son and baby, and they're heading to go see grandpa at the Utah mental facility. You probably were angry about this part.
Which part? The part where no one's wearing seatbelts and I was very worried for everyone's safety and she's just holding a baby in the front seat? The 70s were a wild time, Dan. It's total lawlessness out there.
I guess we'd have to check when the actual seatbelt law really came into place, but you didn't really have to wear a seatbelt in 71.
That's what I'm saying. It scares me. That's the scariest thing of this movie, is that this mother just holding this newborn baby in the front seat with no protection whatsoever.
So we get there, and Grandpa is like sitting in a chair, and Grandpa's comatose.
And was that like the common room? Is that where they said they brought him? Because no one else is in this entire hospital, as far as I can tell.
They call this movie Silent Night, Deadly Night. Silence. They we are not going to hire any extras. The extras are out of the budget.
100%.
Well, and they
Yeah.
can't have anyone in that room anyways, because they go off to look at some paperwork, and then Grandpa gives this psycho monologue.
Oh, you mean story-wise? Yeah. No, conveniently, there's nobody else in this room. Yes,
Yeah,
that is correct.
That's why there wasn't anybody in the room, because Grandpa had to drift out of the comatoseness for some unknowable reason. Give little what's his name, Bobby? No, Billy. The dad's name is Jimmy. The kid's name is Billy. It's stupid. I didn't have a problem with that. And he gives it. So Grandpa.
That's where your problem lies. That's amazing.
So Grandpa gives him this whole thing where it's like, Santa is not really there to give you presents. He's there to punish those that have been bad. Have you been bad? I think the kid says he's been bad. Dumb kid.
Yeah, well, I feel like a lot of kids, when cornered in that situation, they're like, yeah, I got grounded, so I've been, I'm a naughty kid.
I was never a naughty kid. I was perfect.
Yeah, you and the mom both, I guess.
So, what are you saying?
The mom and we'll get there. The kid asks her, he's like, were you naughty as a kid? She's like, I don't know, once or twice. Bullshit. You were a terrible child. I could tell.
So then Grandpa gives him this whole thing, terrorizes him, and then, just sort of slips back into his state.
So, okay. Here's where my head is at this point in the movie.
Happy.
No, well, I'm actually still on board because I did not read the synopsis at all. I wanted to go in completely stone cold blank. So right now, I'm still thinking that it's actually going to be Santa Claus that's killing people, and I'm very excited.
Oh, you think it was the real Santa?
Yes, that's what I wanted. I wanted a magical killer Santa that could do cool murders. I didn't want some freaking schlub just off killing people in a Santa suit. That's not as much fun for me. I wanted this movie to be about what the grandpa just described. A vengeful Santa Claus killing naughty people. Yes, that's what I want. So right now I'm like, oh, cool. Grandpa is in the know. Obviously, at some point in his life, he was chased by Santa and he probably got away. Maybe that's going to come into play later. It doesn't, because that's not what the movie's about. And so I don't understand why this speech is even in here. Why is crazy Grandpa convinced that Santa's bad if he's not really bad?
Because somebody just thought that'd be a good idea to sort of set that up.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't a good idea.
This was one of the few parts of the movie that I didn't care for, because it didn't really fit into the oeuvre of the movie, how it was really structured.
It didn't at all.
But there's so much good coming that I'm going to give this a pass.
You're giving a pass to the entire setup of the movie that doesn't work for the movie. Got it. Yeah. Let's move on.
Much. So the parents come back. Grandpa's back to being comatose, and he's like, "Grandpa talked," and they're like, "No, he didn't." And then they actually no, they he doesn't do it. Then they get in the car, and then they do it. Yeah. Actually, he says Grandpa talked, and the parents, they kind of actually believe him.
Yeah, the mom is like, why would he make it up? It was like, because he's a kid. Kids make up stuff all the time.
But I really like that the parent actually believed the kid, which I think is kind of nice.
And then they kill them.
And then somebody says, Grandpa's a crazy old fool.
Yeah.
I think the mom says that, which was a really big switch in tone from how they were treating Grandpa.
Because none of it makes any sense, Dan. This movie doesn't make any sense.
Oh, Tony. So then we have the liquor store. Santa, if you come over here and
not when you're in a Santa suit, because I've learned Santa very dangerous.
Wait till I buy an axe. So liquor store. Santa goes into the liquor store, holds it up, pulls out a gun. The other guy, he pulls out a gun. There's some witty repartee, and shooting commences.
I feel like we watch different movies.
Didn't the liquor store clerk say something kind of funny, sort of weird? He was really overacting.
I don't know. He said something. I don't know what he said.
He really thought he was in a Clint Eastwood movie. He was just like, I'm getting the most out of these 6 lines.
Here's my thing. If a guy is pointing a gun at you, right, wait until he's taking the money and his mind is distracted. Don't take the gun out when he's still focused totally on you. You gotta be like, okay, here's the money, and then when he goes to pick it up, bam, bam, 2 in the head, pop, pop.
Unluckily for this guy, he gets shot, and then the robber shoots him right in the head. Like, perfect
Right.
shot.
It was a pretty good effect for what I imagine wasn't a huge budget. Like, I was like, oh, nice job.
So then he walks out and he's like, $31, what the hell?
And he's barely fazed by the fact that he just murdered a person for $31.
Well,
This is a bad guy.
You'd be disappointed if it was only $31.
Sure, I would be disappointed, but I'd also be like a little more distraught. How many people has this man killed? I need to know more about this guy. He is just murdering people left and right, and there's no consequences.
I mean, maybe that's in Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. We'll never know.
I doubt it, but I'll watch it and I'll let you know.
So they're driving down the road, and the mom says, I think I saw something. And then they keep driving for another like 20 seconds. She's like, I see something. And there's a car stopped in the middle of the road, and there's Santa Claus. And you're kind of like, how did she thought she saw something if it was the car
correct.
that was further on down the road? It's not like
that was already stopped.
It's not like they passed Santa, turned around, and came back and like saw Santa again. There's Santa and his.
Oh, you think you saw something? Let me turn around and I'll go check on it. No, that makes too much sense.
And Santa had like, I don't know cars, but it looked like a really cool red muscle car, which seems kind of crazy to be doing like major robberies in a car that's that apparent.
Yeah, that you could pretty much be like, no, I remember exactly what he was driving. I know the color, I know the year, I know the make. And they're like, well, we can't get him. God, I don't know.
So they're like, oh, we got to help Santa. And Billy's freaking out. And then Santa, what does he do? I guess he comes over to the door and pulls the gun and then start pulling him out. Is that what he does?
No. He pulls the gun and the mom's like, go, go, go. And they start driving. And then somehow
he shoots a driver.
He shoots. Yeah, I don't even understand. They should have been driving away from him though, right?
They were backing up.
Oh, they were backing up.
Yeah, they were absolutely backing up. They show a little shot.
That's a bad move.
So they're backing up. He shoots Dad, and then he goes over there and he pulls Dad out. Billy takes off and hides in the bushes. And then we get the Santa sexual assault.
The first rape of many. I mean, this movie is messed up.
He doesn't actually get around to raping her. It's implied.
He doesn't really do anything. All that happens is the director was like, you know what? We're going to need some boobies in this scene. Just rip her shirt open and then kill her. For no reason. He doesn't do anything. There's no reason for him to tear open her shirt. He's not there for his jollies. He's going to kill her. And then boobies are out and he's like, okay, that's enough. And then he slits her throat. Dumb.
Yeah, he pulls out a switchblade and he slits it across her throat. Really gruesome.
I agree it was gruesome, but she should have just had her shirt together. There was no reason for it other than just like,
gratuitous.
For the people.
And it sort of made me think about how, like in the 80s, you had to have this gratuitous toplessness in these movies as part of this sort of secondary draw that you're going to have and a certain amount of nudity in here for everybody to, for teenage Tony to go see and care, right? Were you interested in these movies because there was nudity?
No, because my favorite is Halloween. And there's this much nudity in Halloween.
No, but I mean, as a kid, was that one of the draws that brought you to these movies?
No, that's what I'm saying. Not for me. I was there for the kills. Inventive kills is what I'm there. That may sound dark, but that's what I was there for. And just a real quick tangent. That hasn't gone away, Dan. Like, it may not be in the horror genre as much anymore, but like the teen sex comedy. Yeah. I have a friend who wrote a script. So he was in a teen sex comedy and then went to the producers and was like, hey, I've got an idea for one myself. And they were like, they loved the script and they're like, okay, we just need to add this much nudity to the movie. Okay. And it was like a lot. And they're like, and we'll make it. And so he said no, because he's a man of principle, like an idiot. But like, it's still that people are still, sex sells. It's a thing, I guess.
So
I hate it.
in the world we live in, that seems very strange that you would need to put nudity into a movie,
I
since
agree.
there is, everyone has a box full of nudity sitting on their
On their
desk and phone. They have they have a small box of nudity in their phones.
A small box, but it's very, very deep. The catalog is deep.
A nearly endless box of nudity. So he's yelling for the kid to come out, and then we cut to this sweet little baby song, which is so creepy.
Super creepy. I agree. Also, I'm a little confused on where the baby is at this point in time.
He was still in the car, I think.
Mom just kind of like threw the baby into the car.
Yeah, I guess mom.
I don't
He
know.
dragged her out, so the baby would have still been sitting there. Which
I guess, yeah.
So something must have happened, because dude must have left, or maybe thrown.
Yeah, he just got bored, I guess. He was just like, well, that kid's a really good hider, so I'm just gonna leave him.
So we don't cover that, which is okay.
You're giving a lot of passes already.
We jump 3 years ahead to 74. We got the orphan house, nuns. He's in class and he's doing a drawing, and the teacher's like, "Let's see your drawing. Put it up." Teacher nun, "Put it on the board." And then we see it, and Santa is stabbed with things, and there's a beheaded reindeer.
I mean, and then they get mad at him.
They get mad at him.
It just, I mean, I'm sure this is realistic. I don't know. But this whole scene made me very angry, because these nuns, who are, supposed to be all godly and whatever, are just so mean to this poor kid. And they just like, yeah, he's messed up. He saw Santa kill his family.
See,
don't let him draw pictures of Santa. Not a good idea.
You didn't go to nun school.
I did not.
Shannon went to nun. My wife went to nun school, and some of it was good. And then you got to the terror nuns, and they were terrible. They were not these nice nuns. They were not these compassionate, wonderful people. The one nun would just like always be lurking in the shadows, waiting for them to do wrong.
Really?
And they did wrong a lot, but still.
Well, I mean, they're kids.
The kids.
They're kids. That's what they do.
So there's one nun that's the good nun. Then there's the Mother Superior, who's the really bad nun. She's the good nun. She cares about the kid.
Is she the good nun? Because, Dan, she
totally,
gets him whipped.
She totally sets
him whipped
hard.
And then doesn't say sorry, doesn't stop the other nun. I was so mad.
He got angry at the nuns. So the one nun says the violence is inside him, and that he ramps up every Christmas.
Yep.
So
great. That doesn't surprise me, but they just end up ignoring it, and it's very weird.
But I think that's I think that's what we see nowadays. It's like everybody knows the right, what the truth is, but they choose to like live in their own existences and ignore what's real. And that's the way people are. People are, I'm going to hand you the Bible and you're going to get better, as opposed to I'm going to sort of deal with you and your psychological problem. And this is 1984. Yeah. We've had another more than 36 years to start trying to understand how things work. And back then,
yikes,
there were some nuns. They thought God would fix everything. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
So he's up in the window watching all the other kids play. I'm sad. And so then the good nun comes in there and says, "Oh, you should just go out and play." Even though
you're not allowed to. You should definitely go outside and break the rules. It'll be fine. The worst nun ever.
And so he's like walking down the hall, and then he hears, what does he hear, Tony?
Fucking. I'm a little confused.
Let's do it into a cup.
Yeah, get into the cup. Yeah, thank you. Now it sounds right.
What is that? Is someone pooping? Maybe I should go into the bathroom.
I think it's great that you think people have stuck around since the Love Guru and are still here today to get that joke.
So he's like hearing these sex noises, and he creeps, and he's like, up to the pee hole, peephole, not the pee hole.
No.
Hashtag adult content. The peephole, and there's like some random guy and woman going at it.
Yes, Dan, who are they? I don't understand. Are there teenagers? Because we don't see any other teenagers. We only see kids and nuns.
There are 3 kids that are a little bit older. In one of the times when
Okay.
we see the kids all leaving, the last 3 out look like they're 13 to 16. But these felt like people that worked there. It didn't feel like...
Yes, they felt like, older than that, first of all. But the way that they even like talked to them, the nun, it didn't seem like they were the kid. Yeah, I don't know.
So the nun breaks in, and then she pulls out her belt and she just starts whipping them. And this
Just going to town.
And he just starts having this is the beginning of his psychotic break. And then we get a whole thing where what do you want to say?
I was just gonna say, like, I'm just remembering what happened. He kept flashing with the boobies.
Oh,
like
yeah.
The boobies are a trigger.
Breasts are a trigger,
and
for him.
that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. If seeing breasts just automatically triggered you, it would be problematic if you want to have any kind of relationship. And so he runs away and hides in the corner, and then this Mother Superior comes in there and is like, what they were doing is naughty. You're always going to get caught. You're going to get punished, but punishment is good. But you left your room, which equals punishment. Punishment. And that's the whole thing with religion. When everything's about sin and punishment, it's all about punishment. It's not about love and goodness.
Which is what they pretend it is.
It's what the big fake out is.
The big fake out.
So he has nightmares, and so the nuns like tie him up, spread eagle in the bed.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
That you can't.
This was the 70s, man.
Mean, I wasn't alive at that time, so I don't know what kind of punishments were allowed and were not allowed. But that's intense.
Now, when you were in school, did they threaten you with corporal punishment?
No.
Oh yeah,
of course not.
Our PE teacher literally had giant paddles, and they could paddle you. It was horrifying. This was at school.
That does sound horrifying.
And like, I was there. I don't even know what they would do it to you for, but they were like, they'd point to the paddle and say, "You're going to get a paddling." It's like, yeah. And that has all gone away from school, where random, who knows, perverts,
adults
sadists that are in schools doing God knows what to children's butts.
Yeah, the worst I got was like, "Hey, I'm going to make you run laps."
Yeah.
And then I would fall in line because I can't run a lap, let alone multiple laps.
Yeah, like what are they going to do? They're going to humiliate you. That's Tony's life.
Correct. That's it's not that hard. That's the problem.
He's yelling, "Let me out of here! Let me out of here!" And
which they should.
So next morning. Important call. No, I'll get it later. So,
you got a businessman.
Santa Claus is coming to the orphanage to give out presents, and the nun is going to teach him gratitude, and so literally forces him into Santa's lap.
Yeah, this is the worst scene ever. I was irate.
Oh, you mean you had a visceral feeling about what was happening?
Yes, in a negative way. I don't want to. Here's my thing in general about this movie. I don't want to watch a movie where a small child is pushed slowly into madness. That's not of interest to me. That's a terrible movie. I don't like it.
You want all the candy corn and pudding. You don't want to go through the harsh reality of how these people become this way. You just want the joy of watching how he machetes the fingers off, and then more fingers, and then cuts off the toes so you can't run and you don't have any balance. That's what Tony wants.
Dan, first of all, that's dark, and I like it. I'm on board. That's good stuff.
If you lose your big toe, you lose balance.
Just all like all of it?
The big toe, I'm probably making this up, but I think the big toe is like, that's how all your foot balance is sort of based on, your big toe. So when you lose that big toe, those other 4 toes,
They don't do a whole lot.
They don't pick up the slack. Maybe you could teach one of your other toes slowly over time.
Pick up the load. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know.
It sounds like a lot.
But I mean, that's why this movie is a great movie.
No, that's not why. No,
It's
Dan.
because it really shows us the descent into madness, point by point, step by step, and it isn't just this glorified fun house of happy murders that Tony wants it to be.
This
A
is
magical
I mean,
Santa
that is
Claus.
correct. Yeah, how much fun? Here's my thing. I like fun horror movies. I want to be scared and I want to cheer. I want to be like, yes, that was a great murder. Good job, Santa Claus. Like, if he did something cool, like twinkled his nose and then, like, a tinsel like wrapped around and like choke somebody magically, that's awesome. That would be super fun. I don't want to see like this realistic depiction of a guy forced into madness and murder. That's not fun at all. It's depressing.
It's scary.
Is it scary or is it just sad?
Kind of depressing.
The reason for for example, the Rob Zombie Halloween remake is one of my least favorite movies of all time because it explains Michael Myers. It gives him this troubled past, like he's abused as a kid, much like this guy, and it's like, yeah, he's probably going to grow up to kill people. Why am I watching this? That's not fun. Give me a guy who just kills people for no reason. You don't know why. You never met him before. He's just a big, dark, scary guy. Yes. That's what I want to see.
So wait a second. You're pissed off that Santa Claus that triggers all of this, we don't see him go through anything, but you're okay with this other killer like just doing whatever they want for no reason that we don't understand. As long as it's entertaining.
Entertaining I think would have helped this movie a lot. Let me just throw that out there. I was not entertained.
It's a cautionary tale.
Sure. Does it have make a drama? Okay, don't make a horror movie about this. Just make like a drama where he's very sad. Then that's what I want to see.
So the kid, they force him onto the lap, and the kid he comes at it. Wail, just haymaker to Santa Claus. Santa Claus goes down.
He knocks him back like 8 feet.
And you buy it.
Oh, you bought it. Okay, interesting.
I mean, yeah, I thought they shot it pretty well, where you're like, okay.
Oh, sure.
It wasn't like, usually they shoot something like that and you're like, yeah, that kid has 16 pounds. He's never going to knock over a 190-pound man. Not a chance. But this one, I was like, they kind of made it feel like he put all of his muscle into it and bam, Santa goes down. Oh, he runs up in the corner and he's crying again. I'm sorry. That's sorry. Like his place. Punishment.
Which doesn't come back as an adult, and that disappointed me.
Oh, the corner. He never did go into the corner. That because he becomes proactive with his fear,
Oh my God. So it's about growth.
So 1984, the nun is trying to find Billy a job. He goes to this warehouse job at the back of a toy store, Ira's toy store. And the guy's like, oh, I don't need anybody, some kid, blah, blah. And they turn, and then Billy's just like, beast.
So here's
really that
much
of a beast.
He's not really a beast. He's just kind of like an average-sized guy, which is fine.
Above average.
But what bothers me is this store owner who's like, this isn't a job for a boy. It's a job for a man. I actually wholeheartedly disagree. The strength and like resilience of youth, that's exactly who you want to just lift boxes all day.
Yeah, but he didn't want 18-year-old Dan Goodsell doing it. That is not what he wanted.
I don't know 18-year-old Dan Goodsell.
No.
Were you a bad guy?
What?
Were you a bad guy? What was wrong with 18-year-old Dan Goodsell?
Well, scrawny guy. It wasn't. Yeah, I never did anything in my life. I picked up a book to read it. That's all I ever did.
So you were like Benjamin Button working on a boat.
So let's see. What is this? So so he gets the job. It's at this toy store. So there's the front of the toy store, which is like this weird, almost like a warehouse out front, and then in back there's a warehouse with just boxes. So then we have
Dan. Let me ask you a question real quick.
Sure.
Let me put you into the mind of the good nun. Okay. Now you have
put him in a toy store.
Why? Yes. Why would you put this guy in a toy store? He has an aversion to Christmas. Who celebrates Christmas? Toy stores, Dan. What a bad choice. This nun purposely did this. I think she's the mastermind behind all the murders. She pointed this weapon directly at them and just let it go.
Makes sense to me.
She's the worst.
I believe
I
that.
hate her.
I think you're right. And maybe in the second and third installments, we find that all out. She's been sending these Santa, there's like the kid that's crazy about Easter. She sends him out. She gets him at the egg factory, just like that. Egg factory.
The egg factory.
So then we have this musical montage, and they're like drinking booze, and he's drinking milk, and he's getting triggered by the Santa image on a sign, which I really liked.
That was fine, but the musical montage doesn't make any sense. Why is there an upbeat musical montage about him just doing store duties? He's just like hanging something on a shelf. Oh God, this movie is so bad. I hate this movie.
But we spent a lot of nice quality time in this toy store, which is great. And the manager gets pissed off. Oh, is it the dude, the Andy dude? Andy gets pissed off at him and calls him a moon goon.
I don't know what that is.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, man.
It's sort of a, moon goon. I don't know. And he's effing this.
Moon goon. It's kind of like it's like a goon on the moon. It's like a moon goon.
Yep. So Santa shows up, and Pamela sort of sees him struggling, and so Pamela's like, "Oh, it's gonna be okay, Billy." She sort of shows him some things, and then we go to his house. And he's having like this super hot sexual fantasy with Pamela.
Yeah. Which is very confusing to me, Dan, because boobs are triggers. So is he allowed to have fantasies?
Well, that's just, of course he has fantasies, but then he gets triggered because I wrote, then does Santa show up and
yes.
So Santa shows up. Oh, the liquor store Santa shows up and cuts him up his side.
Yeah.
Which was really gruesome.
Yeah, there's some great gruesome deaths in here surrounded by depression.
So we find out that Santa broke his ankle, and so they put they can't get another bonus Santa, so they put him in the suit, and then they tell him to be jolly.
Yep. I mean, come on. It's just kind of a perfect storm of bad here.
So then we get one of the best scenes in the movie. Is this one of your favorite scenes in the movie?
What happens next?
Where
I don't have notes.
Actually on the Santa chair, and he's this little girl, and she is going crazy, and he
stop it, please don't do that, please stop it, please stop it.
No, you're not too. You're too. Please stop.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you? Stop kicking. You're being naughty. You're being naughty. It's like so creepy. He's like so weird.
Creepy.
And
all of the parents are like, he's so good with children. I'm like, no, he ain't.
Because they're at a distance and they can't hear him saying the creepiest shit he's saying. And so they're like, oh, he knows how to control children. But he's not.
Yeah, by threatening death upon them.
Terrorizing them. It was so cool. And so the nun calls. Oh, the nun calls and gets Andy, who's the guy that works in the back, and says, "You better watch out because Christmas is coming." And I left a.
Is that what Is that what she says? Because she calls and is like, is Andy in the stock room? And he's like, no, he's Santa now.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. And she realizes, that's when she realizes the mistake she made.
Yeah, way too late. He's already in it, lady. Is this the first time you've checked on him? Come on.
So they make it through all the kids. He doesn't kill anyone. And then Mr. Sims is like, time to lock up. Time to get shit-faced. And he just starts pulling out the alcohol. Bottle.
Now, Dan, what's the legal age in this movie? Do you know?
In Utah, probably 7.
Utah. Okay, so Billy can drink.
Hell yeah. Utah.
Okay.
They don't care.
All right, I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think some of these states back then probably 17. I would not be surprised. And then we get shots of the nutcrackers, like, nah, 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 nah.
Yeah.
And then Andy's in the back and he is all over Pamela. And we're almost there where the movie's about to start.
And how far in? I wish I would have time coded this before.
Usually I write down the times just to see how long it is. It's funny. I was watching Jaws the other day and I was clocking things. And it's like 10 minutes, you get Roy Scheider. Another 10 minutes, you get Richard Dreyfuss. Literally another 10 minutes, Quint. I mean, it's not 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 17 minutes. It's like 10, 10, 10. It's beautiful.
Because it's a perfectly made film.
Yes.
And this is not. This is a sloppy piece of trash.
That's what I love about this movie.
Oh my God.
Is that there's perfect movies and then there's bad movies. And then there's movies like this that you're just like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah. Keep you on your foot. So
oh my God.
He starts thinking about his dead parents. And then we get these scenes where the film quality gets bad, then it gets good again, then it gets bad again, then it gets good again.
What? I don't understand what happened.
It was so weird.
I thought maybe they only had money to like redigitize it for like half the movie. And they were like, well, we're out of money. Let's just release it anyhow. I don't know.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's very strange.
So she's back there saying, no. We got Andy's doing the full sexual assault, tearing off her clothes.
I think this director has something about tearing shirts. I think it's a fetish. Because I wish I would have counted. There are a lot of torn shirts in this movie.
It was one of his things. So he has a bunch, whenever he starts going crazy, we have a montage of flashbacks.
Yeah.
And then he goes back there and he does, so he sees the mom's slit throat again. And it's like even more graphic than it was when it happened.
Yep. Got way worse. Well, I guess that's how the mind works though, right?
Yeah. And he starts getting sweaty. And that's the other thing. He spends the whole movie with the beard pulled down so you can see his face and he can act, which I thought was pretty great. It's like you watch the stupid Iron Man movies and it's like, hey, Tony Stark, can you take the Iron Man mask off for the rest of the movie so that we can see you act?
But he's so witty that it works.
No, Deadpool works because he's in the mask the whole goddamn time because he's dead. He's Deadpool. I burped. Oh.
Thanks. Thank you for the update.
Gotta get some So it's showing what a beast he is. He puts Christmas lights around Andy's neck and hangs him to death.
That's impressive.
Tony was happy.
That's really impressive. I was happy.
15 seconds of happy. And then stupid Pamela says, "You're a crazy bastard." Calls him a crazy. He just saved you from being raped. And he's the crazy bastard. I would have been like, bravo, good riddance, Andy. Yes.
Yeah. Be like, okay, maybe that was extreme, but thank you for saving me. And
so with her, now's when he starts doing his business. Punishment.
Yeah.
He's a really terrible actor, and so you don't really buy it.
He is. He's the worst Billy of the three. And that's crazy.
He's really bad, but it's really funny when he says punishment right before he kills someone. And so he picks up the box cutter and is it right up the front?
It's right up the front.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that one was
bad.
painful. That was the most painful one of them all. I wrote, "Oh Jesus," because I think I screamed, "Oh Jesus!"
Dan, I wrote "splits her open?" ? Jesus. So we're on the same page.
You mean like not like Jesus got split open, like a exclamation point.
Correct.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, like Jesus.
So then we get another thing that's really, really effective in this movie is they just have like a shot of the boots walking and then jingle, jingle, jingle. Jingle,
is that
jingle,
effective?
jingle.
Is that how you felt about it?
I mean, I guess I felt like this were like a lot of good sketches for ideas that you could put in like a good movie. And that one, like,
but they didn't.
Jingle, 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 because you know it's coming. And then we see a hammer, and we're like, okay, he picks up a hammer. We're like, okay, it's hammer time.
Oh, that would have been a good song.
Hammer time. I think that was after this. And then the lights go out, and then he and then he hammers Mr. Sims, because Mr. Sims comes back there and he's all drunk, and he like claw hammer to the head. Bonk.
So I guess here's my question is because his mantra becomes punishment, right?
Punishment.
But not everyone he kills has really done anything wrong, right?
No, doesn't matter.
It kind of does.
Nope.
Okay.
Once he's felt, once he's felt the need to punish, you just got to keep punishing.
I guess my thing is I don't like that punishment is the theme when it doesn't actually fit the movie. Because the original kill from Santa was not about punishment at all. You know, like that is unrelated. So then he learns later that punishment is.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't correlate because that has nothing to do with death. And then now he's like punishment, but he just kills randomly.
No, they're naughty. They're all naughty.
They're naughty. This guy's drunk. Everyone gets drunk. That doesn't make you naughty.
Yeah, that's naughty. You're not supposed to get drunk. If you ask the Bible, should you get drunk? The Bible says drinking. No.
Billy took some shots.
Yeah.
So he should kill himself.
And that happens.
No, that doesn't happen.
So at one point earlier in the movie, we had this nice shot where we see this axe on the wall. So you know there's going to be axe time.
Yeah, some great foreshadowing. Good job,
So
guys.
now we have axe time, and there's one lady left, and she goes for the phone.
Also, real quickly, let's just talk about the axe isn't encased in anything. It's literally just hanging on the wall.
Yeah, that's the way it used to be.
Is it really? No. Man, we've come a long way as a species.
Fire extinguishers available for all. Yeah, everything.
Jesus.
We've had to lock everything up because people are jerks. In the 70s and 80s, things were nice and we could have nice things. And then they all had to be taken away.
Not anymore.
So she like puts her hat on some boxes so he gets fooled and he can't axe her. And so she's going for the door and he picks up the bow and arrow. Fuck right through the heart.
What bow and arrow? What bow and arrow, Dan?
It's a toy store.
It's a toy store bow and arrow that is able to go 8 inches through a person?
Yeah, because that
doesn't make any sense.
He's a beast. I told you at the beginning he's a beast.
I told you at the beginning. We saw a shot of him being a beast.
He's a beast.
But how does he shoot it hard enough? The string shouldn't have enough torque to get a fake bow and arrow to go through a human being. That doesn't make sense.
You know, a lot of these old toy stores, they were hardware stores. They were also like Big Fives because there was balls and stuff there. So it's probably they have sporting goods there too.
All right.
I'm confused, Tony. And then we get this
confused.
We get this nice thing where we go, dead body, shot of the other dead body, shot. We get a nice shot montage of all the dead bodies.
There's a lot of recapping in the movie. It's like, hey, do you remember when this happened 8 seconds ago? Now you do.
Because you really want to see that claw hammer in his brain.
The hammer in the head.
So then the nun shows up at the store and sees all the bodies.
Yeah, just way too late.
Way too late. Then we have some carolers that don't really do anything. I think they're just a bridge, right?
Yep. They just kind of, the carolers are here and then we kind of pan up and in and zoom into a house that's just behind them. It's like, okay, it's Christmas time, guys. Just in case you forgot, he's dressed like Santa and it's Christmas time.
So now we have the one actual movie star in this movie.
What? Who?
I don't know how you say her name. It's Linnea Quigley, the blonde.
Is she the kid in the pool table?
Yeah,
on the pool table?
She's the kid, the woman, and the girl in the pool table. She went on after this to be in many Scream Queen horror movies. She is one of the Scream Queens, and this probably was one of her first whatever movies.
Wow,
yeah.
Good for her.
So there is one real star in this movie.
Something came out of this movie. That's great.
And here we're going to have Tony. This is going to be Tony's favorite part of the movie.
I get very frustrated very quickly here.
Really? Okay, so they're like
just start the scene.
They're having sex on the pool table. Denise / Cindy. Oh, and there's like a sister. There's a little sister upstairs.
Little
Kid
the
tries
little
to come down, and they're like, "No, no, no, don't come down! No, 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 no!" And the kid goes back up, and
because they're naked and doing it on the table. They don't want the kid to see.
yeah, because they don't.
That's important for the next scene, Dan.
They don't want
the reason why I got frustrated.
They don't want to cause like another kid to become a Santa Claus sex murderer.
It's endless cycle.
And we have what's Tony's favorite line in the movie?
If you don't go back to bed, Santa won't come. He's not the only one.
No, there's one more. There's one more good
that
joke.
Wasn't your, no, that was my favorite line.
2 ball in the corner pocket.
Oh, no, that's not as good as Santa won't come.
I knew this was going to be.
But I mean, a couple of good one-liners right there. And that's what I want this movie to be, Dan. Funny one-liners, great murders. Yeah. That's all you need in a slasher film.
There were just 2 good one-liners for you, Tony.
But that's it. I would like a couple more.
So she's like, gets distracted. And she's like, "Oh, that's my cat." And so she runs upstairs. Now
topless,
but she put on her clothes for the kid. When the kid was coming down, she like almost got completely dressed.
And then when she was going upstairs where the kid is, she's like, "You know what? I don't need the shirt. I'll keep the pants. I don't need the shirt." So dumb. And then the guy takes the time to put on his shirt. What's the deal with that, Dan? What is So
the cat comes in. She's completely topless at the door, and then he comes in. He axes the door. He throws the axe, misses her. Then they're like wrestling and doing all this stuff. And then talk about this kill, because you probably loved this one.
This is my favorite kill. That is correct, Dan. So he grabs her, being, because he's a beast, as you've told me many times. And he notices a moose. I assume a deer,
I think it's like
a moose, some sort of animal with antlers.
Do you even know what a moose is?
I guess a moose would have like the big rounded horn. So I guess it's probably a deer or I don't know what else is there. Antelope.
Are they in Africa, Tony? Are we in the African
I don't know where
savannah?
They are.
We're in Utah.
Maybe that's where he got it. Maybe he went on a jungle. Anyhow, we're getting off point. So he grabs
either
her.
A deer or an elk.
Okay, elk. Great. So he grabs her, lifts her up to the head mounted on the wall, and just slowly pushes her body against these horns, and they just slow poking out, and go through and through and through. It was pretty good. It was a 10 out of 10. In fact, this whole scene, top to bottom, this pool scene is what the movie should have been.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. So what's his name? He's playing pool downstairs.
Got the music on so we can't hear anything happening upstairs.
I wrote poker to the eye. Colin, does he go? He goes upstairs and they fight.
Yeah, and it gets in a fight. Yeah.
And so, so he gets thrown out the window. Finally, that's what kills him.
Yeah, but he gets a good lick in with the fire poker. I think that's what you wrote.
Yeah, which doesn't really ever show. That was a little disappointing. Yeah, that would have been a nice little makeup effect for later on. Whatever.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that would have been nice in this movie.
So he goes upstairs, and there's the little girl, Cindy, and the little girl comes out, and he's like, "Have you been good? Have you been?" And she's like, "I've been good. I've been good." She just she does not,
Smart
she
kid.
has been good. And so what present does he give her?
The bloody box cutter, which is so fucked.
That was so cool. I love that so much. And that's what I love about this movie is they just litter all these other people that are going to be like the killers in the next movies. Cause she's got the box cutter and she's going to go down there. Her sister's going to be dead. And she's going to be like, "Santa Claus has called me. I was good."
There's
and
5 or 6 sequels that you set up in this movie.
And ridiculous. I don't think they were intentionally doing it. I think it's just,
I believe that.
So that now we find out that the cops are looking for Santa. They see this guy.
Hold on, let's talk about the guy real quickly because I think he leave. Does he leave the house and we see the guy in the snow that got thrown out the window?
All the glass sticking out of him.
The glass stick. Oh my god, it's a
So
there's
good.
one huge piece that's like out of his abdomen. I mean, there's
One in the
some
face.
cool visuals in the movie.
Yeah.
I'll give it that.
That's why it's a good movie. It's because they tried on the things that they could try on. With the limited budget, limited time, limited acting. Mostly the actors ruined it because the actors can't do what they need to do.
That's true. There weren't a lot of good acting. And I will say, now that we're talking about it, I am willing to bet that pool hall, you know what I mean? The pool scene in the basement where he throws out 2 one-liners, probably improvised. That was probably the actor being like, oh, you know what I could say here? Because there's no jokes anywhere else in the script. There's no way that was planned. Now that I'm thinking about it, that guy saved the movie single-handedly.
One of Tony's brethren,
It's my guy. I don't know if he's probably alive.
Tony's going to pour one out for him. So the cops see this Santa climbing in a ladder in the room. They go up there, they pull their guns. It's just a dad. And
I mean, where would you think he got the ladder, cop? What a stupid assumption.
Yeah, thanks, Tony, for calling cops stupid.
Well, in this movie, they are. All right. They kill the wrong guy. They almost kill the wrong guy. Like, it's not good.
So he's wandering the roads, smartly hiding from the cops. So he's not that broken. Then we have this one long scene, which is like not really my favorite scene in the movie, is the sledding scene. There's 2 kind of kids sledding about the sled. Then these other 2 kids come and are dicks to them and take their sleds away from them. And then the one kid sleds down, and then the other kid is sledding down, and then he's got the axe and he cuts off his head as he's sledding down the hill.
It is so much setup for like a 1-second bit. So much setup. First of all,
this was the only part of the movie I felt kind of dragged.
Oh my god. I think this was the part of the movie I was most upset about because I had thought
the worst part.
The scene previously, which was the pool scene, I was like, okay,
now we're going.
Now we're finally getting into it and we're going to cruise to this finale. And then they just slam on the brakes and are like, first of all, they talk about the hill for about 3 minutes and it's not even a hill. They look like they're on flat ground. Even when they slide down, the guy has to like propel himself to even go down the hill. Who in the world is sledding on this hill right now? These are the dumbest kids in the world.
Just these 2 kids.
Just these 2. But they said like, oh, it's a virgin hill, but there are foot tracks everywhere. There's a clearly like paved sledding area. And I was like, okay, this is so dumb.
There was a paved sledding area? What are you talking about?
Paved isn't the right word, but it was like, it had clearly been sled on a bunch because there was like,
why'd you say
indents
paved
here? It's like a track. That's what I should have said.
Why did you say paved?
There was like a track. It's not paved, Dan. I misspoke. Okay.
Jeez, Tony. People come here for truth, and if you're saying paved all the time.
Everything's paved. The pool was paved. Don't worry about it.
So then we like cut to the next morning. And I was just like, I was sort of dumbfounded. I was like, wait, the next morning? And then, but this movie, like, I didn't see it coming. Did you see it coming?
Going to the next morning?
Yeah.
No, because it doesn't make any sense. He's on a killing spree.
It makes perfect sense.
Oh my God. No, it doesn't.
So the nun is working with the police.
Is she? She's just sleeping on a bench. She's not working with anybody.
And they're like, we got to predict his next move. And then they're like, the orphanage. He's going back to the orphanage where it began. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why we need to go to the next day.
How far is the orphanage?
He's walking. We don't know. It's in the middle of nowhere.
He's walking. Who knows?
Could take him hours. Could be one county over.
I mean, it's an homage to Michael Myers, the night he came home.
He's coming home.
I'll just tell you that right now.
I'm coming home.
Are you singing the Daughtry song? I'm coming home.
No,
to the place where I belong.
I was singing Rocky Horror Picture Show. Free on Hulu, by the way.
Oh, actually, that's a good one.
So they figure out that he's going to the orphanage. They call the orphanage, but some stupid orphan has left the phone off the hook again because they're probably into the sherry.
Just said stupid orphan.
Stupid orphan. The orphans probably deserve to die because they're too dumb to hang up a phone.
Well, yep, they're being punished. They get
So
punished. Don't
the
worry.
guy shows up and Santa Claus is there walking towards the kids. And what does he do? Fire first, take names
Well,
later.
he says stop. He's like, hey, stop. And that he keeps going. So your next move is to shoot him twice in the back like a chump.
And then they talk to the nurse and they turn him over and it's like, it's not him. And they're like, oh, she's like, it's the priest. He's deaf.
Who's deaf? I
See?
about lost my shit.
Mwah, perfection.
No, Dan.
Mwah.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
beautiful. So
This movie's super dark.
So the cop locks them all inside and then he starts patrolling and he goes around and then there's this weird thing where he goes down in this basement thing.
Hold on. Here's my thing. Why is he still there? He just murdered somebody. Maybe make him take like a 5. Be like, you know what? Why don't you go back to the station while they bring in someone else who didn't just murder someone for no reason?
Well, he's trying to protect the kids. He's the only one.
He just killed a guy. He just killed an innocent man and nobody cares?
I don't care. Why should I? He was trying, Tony. You know, maybe you should do that in their life. Maybe you should do in your life. Maybe actually try. Maybe don't quit before you've even tried. You know?
Well, if it's anything like this movie, me quitting is saving lives. So there you go.
So he searches this whole basement shed and then he gets killed. And then what's his name shows up because, you know, timing. Oh, he doesn't show up. You know, then he comes out of why he was hiding down there, I don't know. So he comes up.
I don't know.
He kills a snowman and then he's Santa Claus and he's all like, he signals one of the kids and kids being stupid orphans walks over there and lets in murderous Santa Claus, even though they know murderous Santa Claus. And that shows you how stupid orphans are.
And wasn't everyone yelling?
No, the nun notices finally when as the stupid kid unlocks.
Okay.
And then so then he comes in and he's doing naughty. Then he's going to kill the nun and we're like, this is going to be the triumphant part of the movie where he kills that stupid nun. Yeah. And then the cop and the good nun show up and kill him dead. And then we also realize his brother watched all this and then his brother goes, naughty. The little baby brother is grown up,
which
and
is
he will
confusing.
Be the next murderer.
I have a couple of things to say on the wrap up of this movie. Why did he switch taglines?
Naughty.
But before he was saying punish.
Punishment.
And all of a sudden he just switches to naughty and then the kid picks up on naughty. So like it doesn't even make sense.
He's the punishment Santa for the most part. And the new kid's going to be the naughty so you don't get confused.
Oh, okay. Great.
And for that matter, we don't even know if he's killed. He could have just been like injured. And he could be like in the hospital and then get out, or supernatural things could happen. Maybe the true spirit of Santa Claus brings him back to life. Because
I mean, slasher films kill their murderers all the time and they just come back. Jason went to hell one time and then he came back no problem.
And outer space.
Jason X. That's a 10 out of 10. We'll have to watch that for this podcast sometime.
No, we
Next
won't.
Halloween.
So
here's the thing, Dan.
Good movie.
All of these kids, I don't know, 20, 25 kids, just watched 2 Santa Clauses get murdered back to back. All 20 of those kids are fucked for life.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 20. The final kid.
The final kid.
She's 60.
We're finally through.
She's 67 years old now, and she's finally gonna start killing. I finally figured out I want to be Santa Claus and kill.
Ay.
So it was quite a good movie.
I can't believe you like this movie. I do not like this movie.
You don't like any movies, Tony.
That is not true. I like Fired Up.
Is that the cheerleading one with?
It is. Well, it's the good cheerleading. Actually, I like Bring It On as well. So never mind. I like them both.
You're so pathetic. Any final words of praise for this movie?
Praise? It doesn't have to be praise because the way you phrased it made it sound like this has to be
Yeah,
praise.
pretty much. That's all.
Okay, great. Well, then I will praise the 3-minute section of this movie that's an actual fun slasher film with the pool to the window, and that's it. And then everything else I hated.
And
Hated
people
it.
might wonder why our culture's so messed up. Is because Tony wants to see movies where there's lots of killing with no consequences and no reason giving to understanding. We're not going to know how to treat these people unless we make movies like this where we see what they've gone through and we can try and treat the systems that make these murderers.
So just to be clear on what you're saying, you're saying if someone had not seen this movie, you don't think they would have known not to maybe abuse the child or perhaps force him to sit on Santa's lap when he's deathly afraid of him, or work in a toy store when he has an aversion to Christmas.
Hey, if one parent watches this movie and
You
learns
save one life
not to turn their child,
into a murderer.
or more importantly, maybe they learn to actually hit the forward and ram Santa with their car as opposed to trying to back away. Or maybe
idiots.
if that guy had been had a little more ninjutsu moves, been like, choo, choo. There's a lot of things to learn from a
lot of lessons, a lot of great lessons in this
educational film that teaches us how we should be. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Tony, do you have something fun that you imbibed or imbued or watched?
I do.
Over the holiday time.
It's unrelated to holidays. I mean, other than it came out this week. Maybe I'm last on the train on this one, but there is a sketch group called Auntie Donna. Have you heard of them, Dan?
This is not that stupid thing on Netflix.
Oh my God, yes, it is. Auntie Donna's Big Old House of Fun.
Oh, so terrible.
What are you talking about?
It was so terrible.
It is my absolute favorite thing I have seen in a very long time. I have watched it cover to cover 3 times this week alone. I mean, it's only 6 episodes that are like 20 minutes apiece, but it is it's amazing. It's my favorite sketch I've ever seen. So now I've gone down a rabbit hole of like all of their YouTube videos, and I'll say they're definitely hit or miss, as almost all sketch groups are. But I'm in 100%. Phenomenal. It's weird. It's weird humor. So the way I've been telling people is if you watch the first sketch that they do, which is called Everything's a Drum, if you find that funny, watch the rest of the series. If you don't find that funny, you'll hate everything that happens after it because it gets even wilder. So that's the barometer. The first sketch is the barometer, and then you know whether or not to watch the rest of it. Well, I can't believe you didn't like it, Dan. It feels like something you would really enjoy.
No, because the guys, they're not very good. They're not funny, and they just sort of do the same thing over and over again. And it's like,
really?
Like you'll have a sketch with 6 people in it, and it'll be all 3 of them twice.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, and I guess that's the point.
Hilarious.
Is if you think they're hilarious and you think they're good, you're gonna love it. Because if you think that they're bad, you're gonna be like, "Why are you casting?" And they all are very similar. And this is the comedy. A thing. That's the comedy.
Yeah, correct.
Wow,
yeah.
I never
did you make it through
the first episode? No, I didn't.
Did you make it through Roll Call, the sketch of where they're looking for new housemates? How far into the first episode did you get?
I don't even remember. The whole weird Jerry. They all do a whole weird guy. Another guy comes on and says he's Jerry Seinfeld. I'm just like, Jerry Seinfeld doesn't want to be on here. Why have you hired someone to act like Jerry Seinfeld on your thing who's not funny?
Oh, nor does he look like Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's the joke, Dan.
Oh, that's the
Jerry
joke.
Seinfeld
he's not Jerry Seinfeld.
So that's when they renamed the Wi-Fi. I think that's the second episode.
Maybe I watched the first episode and then watched some clips of the second episode. Because somebody I know is in there. What's her name's in there? Natalie Palamides is in one of the episodes, and I was like, oh, maybe
I
she's a
don't know.
regular on there. But no, they really only cast themselves in the main roles over and
Yeah.
over and over.
Yes. It's a sketch group. So it's your sketch. You write the sketch, you're in the sketch. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, but why don't you hire someone that's funny to be in your sketch?
Because they're expensive.
Oh,
Funny people are
there
expensive,
you go.
Dan.
They couldn't afford funny
No,
people.
I love them. Broden, he's the bald one with the deep voice.
The really ugly one?
Wait, what?
See the
Really?
really ugly one?
I don't think so.
It's like really
No.
weird hair. You're like, your hair's causing me to feel bad.
Oh, with the long hair
I don't know. There's one that has hair that's really...
and the big eyes. And then there's like one guy that has like douchey bro hair that's like shaved and long. Anyhow.
I'm picking a YouTube personality. It's this guy called the Raccoon Whisperer. It's this guy up in Canada. He's got to be in his late 60s or 70s. And what he does every night is he cuts up a bunch of hot dogs and grapes and cookies and then sits on his porch. And then all these raccoons come up there and he feeds them.
Dan, how did you even find that?
I don't know, man. Just came up on my YouTube recommended.
That's what I assumed. What are you watching? That YouTube algorithm was like, this guy's gonna love a guy that talks to raccoons.
I mean, I watch a lot of those dodo animal ones. I've said that before.
That's true.
And it's so funny because he's like, he'll reach out and he's like, got your bum. And then the raccoon will be like, I don't get my bum. And then there's like, he gives them names. He's like, this is Blackie. And you're sitting here and you're like, they all look exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
And he's like, but like there's this one buddy who comes up on his shoulder and he's like, here you go, buddy.
What?
Yeah, he calls one of them buddy. And there's, what is the other names? I don't know. They all have different names. They don't all have names. There's one called Blackie.
Sure.
And then it's interesting because what he's saying is that they come and then they leave. So they eat, and he feeds them and they all get super fat. And then they'll go to their dens and sleep, or their burrows. They don't hibernate. They just sleep for the winter.
Sure.
And then they come out in spring and they move on. You'd think, like if you were a human being and there was someone giving you free food, you would
keep coming
you
back.
would never leave. You'd build a house right next door to that place where the food is. But
just
the raccoons are like, we're going to find food elsewhere. We don't care.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Raccoons, man.
So the Raccoon Whisperer.
He sounds like somebody that you would be friends with.
Yeah, he seems very nice. And then he like talks about like all my friends on the internet, and like, he'll go inside and he's like, got this package, and he'll open it and it's like a thing to control the lights, or it'll be like a blanket with a raccoon on it. It's so folksy and homesy and just like normal in the midst of all the garbage we live in. And Tony wants a show where everyone's being random. Oh, it's so hard to write a show where everything is random. Things are happening. No, they're not. Wow, that's comedy.
Hey, they don't deny. There's no denial in the show.
They don't teach us something important like Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh my God.
About the pathology of
wrong, Dan. They
nunnerisms.
teach you that everything is a drum. Everything is a drum.
Everything is a drum. I'm a drum. You're a drum. This is dumb. Yes, it is.
No, they don't say that.
Okay, Tony, give us a movie to watch next week.
So I had one, and then we watched this, and I was like, I can't do those two movies back to back. So I guess we'll save that for next Christmas. And instead, I want to go back to like a fun holiday movie. So we're going to do Fred Claus. It's the Vince Vaughn, Paul Giamatti smash hit.
Oh, I've seen part of this movie.
My
absolutely.
wife tells me that I have also seen it, but I don't agree.
Wee.
I watched that this week too.
Yeah, because Paul Giamatti is Santa Claus, and then I might have seen the whole movie.
She tells me that I saw it when it came out, and I don't remember it at all. But it doesn't look like something I'm going to enjoy.
Have we done a Vince Vaughn movie?
I don't think we have, which is pretty miraculous if you think about it.
Because when he's bad, when he's good, he's good. When he's bad, man, he's bad. Yeah.
So that's what we're doing.
Fred Claus. Any idea what year it came out?
This is 2000. Yep. Yeah, it's in the 2000s, or yeah, I think it's before 2010. So the aughts, is that what they say?
Yeah, that's what I say. Okay, well, signing out. We have 2 more weeks of holiday weeks, which
Woo!
is great. Hopefully, you're having a good Christmas, even though Christmas was canceled, but it wasn't canceled because Christmas has never been canceled. I'm Santa Claus.
And I'm Tony.
And thank you for watching, hate watching. If you like what you see, leave a comment or a snoob. Do something a little outside of your comfort zone. Maybe give a present to an orphan or give an orphan a home. You know, it is the Christmas time of giving, and maybe don't just spend money on yourself. Maybe do something nice. I'm only spending money on myself.
Well, sure, because we're in a pandemic, so treat yourself. I disagree with everything Dan said. Don't give gifts this year. Just treat yourself. It's all about mental health. 2020.
2020. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Good night.
Hate watching with Dan and Tony. Hate watching.